There are 5 things that really get in the way of you hiring talent. For the past 20 plus years, I've heard so many different things that managers talk about that really seem to interfere with their ability to hire. And sometimes I even hear managers say, you know what, just having somebody in place is better than nobody. Have you ever caught yourself saying that or hearing others describe that that's their situation? Well, you know what? There's lots of reasons why hiring managers don't hire or what gets in their way. And some of these may resonate with you. You know, it could be they don't have the time to address the issues because they're just so bogged down with just being in the business, working in the business. It could be that there are just not any applicants applying to their jobs, that they're posting and that just there's no response, or that the quality of candidates they're looking for or the qualifications they're looking for just aren't there. They lack the support from their upper management to even hire and replace open positions that candidates have left. They aren't confident in their internal recruiters to be able to find the candidates that they're looking for. They'll they'll present candidates to them, but they're just not the ones that really fit the job descriptions or the mandate that they have. They don't believe that there are better candidates out there, and that they're just, concerned with the way that the candidate pool is, that there is a talent scarce market out there, and that they've just been discouraged so that they just don't even bother. They just take their time, and when they have some time, or if a great candidate comes along, that they'll interview them. And the recruitment process to find candidates is very long. It's taking months sometimes to fill the roles. So, there was a study where companies select the top 20, when companies select the top 20% of the most talented candidates for a role, they frequently realize a 20% increase. These are the stats: increase in sales, a 30% increase in profitability, and a 10% decrease in turnover. That was a Gallup study that was done just a couple of years ago, and that's pretty significant. So it just goes to show that, you do want to hire, you do want to find ways to be able to replace candidates, employees that have left, and to really focus on your recruitment and hiring processes. So, the benefits of hiring candidates, especially top performers, are, can be tenfold, 20-fold. So the secrets of really hiring great candidates, there's some very significant things and processes that you should go through. First, and number one, is that you should have a hiring process in place. And if you do have a hiring process that is very specific in terms of what you should do and what the steps are, it really lends itself to be able to make sure when you do have an open position, you know exactly what should happen, both you and your internal partners. And if possible, make sure that you have for each role 3 to 5 key indicators that you're looking for each role, so that when you are hiring, you know exactly what the individuals need to have, so you stay on point. What I find some hiring managers do is they waver too much. They're a little indifferent. So when we try to narrow them down when we're recruiting for them, and we say to them, what are the must-haves that you need for these positions, and what are some of the nice-to-haves, they aren't really that specific. So we really have to work closely with them and guide them, sometimes just based on our expertise and our knowledge of what other clients have done to be successful and what we know from our industry experience to really help them narrow that down. But if you can do that ahead of time for your positions, make sure that you've got that in place. That'll really help you a lot. And establish that recruitment process in terms of who the individuals are that should be involved in the interviewing process, so that you make sure that you know who's going to be involved, who do you want interviewing, how many people do you want interviewing in that interview process. And by the way, having too many people and too many steps is not probably a good thing that you want to have in your interview process, for the simple reason that candidates get frustrated, they get discouraged, they often accept other opportunities along the way because it just takes too long, and they don't feel confident in your in what you think of them as a candidate to join their organization, number one, or your ability to make decisions. And are you an organization they even want to work for? So when you have too many people in the interview process, if your interview process takes too long, that's not great. And commit time and resources to the interview process. Sometimes what happens is you have to reach out to external partners, or you have to advertise in, LinkedIn Recruiter or something, so that you can find the talent you're looking for. And the reason I say to also invest in recruitment partners, because sometimes the talent you're looking for, they don't apply to job postings. They don't apply to LinkedIn outreach. They only work with niche recruiters such as individuals like ourselves, because they've established those relationships. They have the rapport. They trust them. So when we reach out to candidates, as an example, many times they say, Linda, I only respond to you because I know you, I like you, I trust you. I've had so many recruiters reach out to me. I get 10 a day. I never respond to any of them, but I'm happy to always respond to you. That's why it's important sometimes to work with recruiters that are niched in the industry or have the expertise, so that you can get the candidates you're looking for, that are the right candidates, that are top performers, so that they're going to make the difference, like the Gallup poll talked about. And commit to successful hiring and onboarding processes. So it's one thing to have your recruiting process, your steps, who's going to interview. You've got the right internal and external partners. You know exactly the type of candidates you're looking for, but now you've hired them. What are you going to do in terms of the onboarding process? That's as important as hiring process and hiring the right individuals. If you don't have the right onboarding process, they don't feel great about the culture and what they feel like when they do get welcomed into the organization, and they don't get a sense of, balance and a sense of well-being and welcoming into the organization, as well as, what's expected of them in terms of the organization, what the policies and procedures are. They don't get well trained in terms of policies and procedures, the job, what's expected of them for the first 30, 60, 90 days. And as well, keep in mind some roles, especially specialty roles in the medical device industry, that can take a long time, 12 to 18 months to really find their stride. Onboarding isn't just a 30-day process. It's a long process. So make sure that, you have a well-established onboarding process. What does that look like? How do you make sure that employees are engaged? There are a lot of studies and research out there that shows when employees are onboarded well, that they stay with an organization, their performance is much higher than individuals that haven't been onboarded successfully or trained, coached, and mentored. The other thing is, outsource your hiring needs when time and talent is of an urgent nature. Don't wait, because it can take a long time. And when you need the expansion and you need to really determine, what it is that you need in terms of your talent, how much is it going to cost, where do you find those individuals, make sure you reach out to the experts so that they can help you. Hiring has become quite challenging in the most recent times. Obviously, the pandemic has affected things, but even post-pandemic. And, being in that we're in a recession, or some people question whether we're in recession, but we are, or when there's financial challenges, individuals either are resistant to job change, or there are a lot of individuals that have had restructuring. So you want to really clearly understand why people are looking for a new role, what's important to them, make them feel safe, and also be more flexible in terms of whether they're hybrid roles, whether they do have to come into the office, what the expectations are, because what people are looking for in terms of their next employer has changed a lot. Mindset has changed in terms of the working relationship with a company and their manager and their team. So we need to be more flexible. We can't look at each individual the same. They're unique individuals, and everybody has something different they're looking for in terms of work-life balance, challenge, development. So, really look at your hiring practices and what you can do to attract each individual, both regionally as well as what they need from a personal perspective. I hope you found this information helpful. If you do, please give us a like, and feel free to send messages, comments, or reach out to me directly, and I'd be happy to help in any way. Thanks, and have a great day.